I guess I had an injury that occurred from when I fell, and it completely ruptured the tendon in my shoulder, and so I lost the complete function of the upper portion of my arm.
Jeff came in here with a massive rotator cuff tear that he had repaired by Dr. Vincent with Ira Orthopedic. With a massive rotator cuff repair, we always know the progression of therapy is going to be a little bit slower due to the large amount of the tear, which is 5 centimeters usually. So he had the massive rotator cuff repair. He also had what's called a bicep tenodesis. What that is when the bicep tendon has to be moved down lower on the arm to basically make room for the shoulder to provide more motion for it.
When he referred me here to Sterling Physical Therapy, I was excited to come because he said it's the best place around. And so when I first come to Sterling here, and I met with Travis for the very first time, I mean, he's a big, intimidating type guy, but I just told him I was kind of anxious about it because I heard it was so painful, and certainly I was very protective of my shoulder, fresh out of surgery. And from the get-go, it just, he reassured me that we would go at my pace and that we weren't going to do anything beyond what I could handle or deal with. And it was just a huge relief for me from the get-go is to know that they're going to work with me on my case and not just a blanket, this is what we're going to do.
There was apprehension in there, and that's always something we try to cover here at Sterling Physical Therapy. We try and make sure that you as a patient will be comfortable. We will like to make you feel like you also have a say in your therapy and how fast we are moving with it. And we will always, make sure that we give you exercises for home that you also are very comfortable with, and they'll be right for you.
Then the teamwork that was evident here at Sterling Physical Therapy, I mean, they reassured me every time that I come that they were communicating with Dr. Vincent. They told me they've got his cell phone. If something comes up, they would reach out to him, and vice versa. When I would go and have meetings with him, he was receiving reports from Angie, and so that teamwork just reassured me that things were on the right track. I think that one of the biggest things for me was the emotional thing. I have a physical job, I'm a physical individual, and when I completely lost the function of my upper arm, it just blew my mind, and I just didn't see this ever coming back. And it was not that I just appreciate the physical stuff they did, but Angie was so positive, and she reassured me every time I was there that I was on track, I was even ahead of schedule at times, and that things would come back. And that meant so much to me emotionally to have that hope.
So him as a patient was great because he had great questions. He was always willing to work when he came into physical therapy, trying his hardest at the exercises that I gave him here and at home, and being very diligent with him. I knew it was important for him to get back to his job. It was a very physical, upper body job, and I also knew that he had children too, that he wanted to be active with, especially a younger daughter still at home. And he was a great patient. He was here every day and working hard, and I always knew I could expect that from him.
If you do work hard and you do what they tell you to do, you can come back and have full function. And I have full function today, and I walked out the door with an open invitation to come back with suggested guidelines as to what I need to do to continue to strengthen my shoulder. And I don't have the words to articulate how much I appreciate what physical therapy, or what Sterling Physical Therapy has done for me to get me back on the road and into the game of life, not just back into the game that you want to go play.